Picture this. It's a quiet morning on the coast of England late in the 8th century. The sea is calm, the mist is lifting, and the monks of Lindisfarne are going about their daily prayers. Suddenly, a shadow appears on the horizon, a long, sleek ship with a dragon head carved into its prow. This is the arrival of the Vikings, and for the next 3 centuries, the world will never be the same. This single event kicks off an era of exploration, conquest, and cultural exchange that will reshape the map of the known world. We often think of the Vikings as horned, helmeted raiders, but that's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. These were not just warriors, they were poets, farmers, explorers, and engineers. To truly understand them, we have to peel back the layers of legend and look at the people themselves. My job is to chase down the world's greatest mysteries, and the Vikings are one of the greatest expeditions in human history. They sailed into uncharted waters with courage and rudimentary navigation tools, facing storms, starvation, and hostile lands. What drove them? Was it just a lust for gold, or something deeper? To find the answers, we have to go back to the cold, rugged lands of Scandinavia that forged this incredible culture. Join me as we set sail on our own expedition to the age of the Northmen. We'll uncover the truth behind their reputation, explore their daily lives, and decode the beliefs that guided their actions. The adventure is just getting started. Grab your gear, you won't want to miss what we find. So, who exactly were these people we call Vikings? The term Viking comes from Old Norse and originally described an activity, going a Viking, rather than a people. The Norsemen came from what is now Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, a patchwork of territories ruled by local chieftains. Their homelands were beautiful but harsh, with limited arable land and resources. As populations grew, young men faced a choice: inherit a small farm or look outward to the sea. The sea was their highway to new lands and opportunities. This environmental pressure was a key ingredient in the creation of the Viking Age. Norse society was structured: jarls at the top, carls in the middle, and thralls at the bottom. Social mobility was possible through wealth, bravery, or a successful expedition. Even before the Viking Age, the Norse were master shipbuilders and traders, connected to a wider northern European world. But around 800 something changed. Advancements in shipbuilding, political instability, and the lure of wealth abroad. Their small-scale raids transformed into a full-blown international phenomenon. The Age of the Northmen had dawned. They were more than just raiders. They were a people shaped by their environment and driven by ambition. Their story is one of adaptation, innovation, and relentless curiosity, and it was just beginning. When you think of a Viking, you probably picture a warrior, and for good reason. Their military prowess was legendary, thanks to one incredible piece of technology: the longship. Long, narrow, and light, the longship could cross oceans and slip up shallow rivers, striking deep into enemy territory. Its clinker-built design made it strong yet flexible, able to ride the waves of the brutal North Atlantic. A single square sail and a crew of oarsmen made it both fast and versatile. Imagine a fleet of these ships, dragon heads on their prows, appearing suddenly on your shore. It was psychological warfare. Viking warriors weren't a professional army. They were farmers and craftsmen who answered the call to raid. They provided their own weapons: axes, swords, shields, whatever they could afford. The axe was the quintessential Viking weapon, a farm tool turned instrument of war. Their tactics relied on speed and shock, overwhelming opponents before they could organize. The famous shield wall was a key formation, but berserker rage added to their fearsome reputation. Whether ritual or tactic, it made them legendary on the battlefield. The Vikings were more than just raiders. They were explorers and settlers. Their longships carried not just warriors but families and the seeds of new communities. Many sought new land to farm and new places to call home. Their westward expansion is one of history's greatest feats, from the Shetlands and Orkneys to Scotland, Ireland, and beyond. Norwegian sailors discovered Iceland around 870, and within decades, thousands had settled there, creating a unique society with its own parliament, the Althing. Eric the Red, exiled from Norway and Iceland, sailed further west and founded Greenland, cleverly named to attract settlers. From Greenland, his son Leif Erikson sailed to North America, Vinland, almost 500 years before Columbus. Archaeological evidence at Landsauks Meadows in Newfoundland confirms a Norse presence. The settlement was brief, but their journey is a staggering testament to their courage and skill. The Vikings didn't just destroy worlds, they built new ones. Their legacy as explorers is as important as their reputation as warriors. What was life like when the Vikings weren't raiding or exploring? At home, life revolved around the farm and the longhouse, a long, narrow building with a central fire pit, sheltering families and livestock. Daily life was hard work, dictated by the seasons. Summers for farming, fishing, trading, and raiding. Winters for mending, weaving, and storytelling. The long winter nights were filled with sagas, epic poems that preserved their history and values. Viking society gave women surprising freedom. They managed farms, owned property, and could even request divorce. Archaeological finds show women could hold immense power, like the Oseberg Queen. Vikings were also surprisingly hygienic, using combs, razors, and bathing regularly, much to the envy of their neighbors. They loved bright colors, dyeing their clothes with vibrant reds, blues, and yellows. They took pride in their appearance and craftsmanship. The Vikings were more than warriors. They were builders of families, communities, and culture. Their daily lives reveal a society both practical and proud. To understand the Vikings, you have to look at their beliefs. Norse mythology shaped their worldview, a cosmos centered on Yggdrasil, the world tree, connecting 9 worlds. Their gods were powerful and human-like: Odin, the wise Allfather; Thor, the thunder god; Loki, the trickster; and Freya, goddess of love and battle. For a Viking warrior, dying bravely in battle meant being chosen by Valkyries for Valhalla, an eternal feast and fight in Odin's hall. This belief fueled their fearlessness in combat. Those who died of sickness went to the gloomy underworld of Hell, a fate to avoid. Rituals and sacrifices were central offerings to the gods for harvests, voyages, or victory. Funerals were grand affairs, chieftains buried in ships with weapons, treasure, and sometimes sacrificed animals or servants. Ship burials like Oseberg and Gokstad give us a window into what they held sacred. Their beliefs were a powerful force guiding every aspect of Viking life. The Viking Age is filled with epic stories, part history, part legend. Figures like Ragnar Lothbrok, whether real or myth, inspired generations with tales of raids and revenge. The great heathen army, led by Ivar the Boneless and others, swept across England, capturing cities and founding Jorvik, modern York. Only Alfred the Great managed to halt their advance. Vikings also sailed south, besieging Paris, and were granted Normandy, a land that would later conquer England in 1066. Their journeys reached east as well. Swedish Vikings, the Rusi, established trade routes through Russia to Byzantium and the Islamic world. They founded cities like Kiev and Novgorod, trading furs, amber, and slaves for silver and silk. Some even served as the elite Varangian Guard for the Byzantine Emperor. The Vikings' influence stretched from the British Isles to the heart of Asia. Their legacy is written in the cities they founded and the empires they shaped. They were not just raiders, they were nation builders. When we picture a Viking, we see a horned helmet, but that's pure myth. No archaeological evidence supports horned helmets in battle. It's a 19th century invention. Real Viking helmets were simple, practical, and built for protection. Another myth: Vikings were mindless savages. In reality, they were skilled traders, craftsmen, and poets. Their jewelry, woodwork, and sagas reveal a culture that valued art and intellect. They built cities, established laws, and created vast trade networks. The infamous Blood Eagle execution, its reality is debated, possibly poetic exaggeration or propaganda. The truth: Vikings were complex, ruthless at times, but also peaceful farmers, traders, and explorers. They blended pagan and Christian beliefs, adapted to new worlds, and left a legacy far richer than the stereotypes. To understand them, we must look past the myths and see the real people. Their story is one of contradiction, innovation, and enduring influence. The Viking Age ended in the 11th century as Scandinavia became Christian kingdoms and the great raids faded. But their legacy is everywhere. Cities like Dublin and Normandy, genetic footprints from Britain to Russia, and words like sky and Thursday in our language. They reshaped political boundaries, created new trade routes, and connected cultures across continents. The Vikings didn't just raid, they helped build the modern world. Why do they still fascinate us? They embody adventure, freedom, and the courage to sail into the unknown. Their stories mix history and myth, reality and fantasy, gods and monsters. The Saga of the Vikings reminds us that history is never simple. It's a story of people, driven by complex motivations. As new discoveries are made, our understanding of the Vikings keeps evolving. Their expedition may have ended, but our journey to understand them continues. And that, for an explorer, is the most exciting part of the journey.